Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So yesterday we were reading how Lord Chaitanya is explaining there are so many living entities. The birds, the bees, the animals, the fish, the human beings. And out of which the human beings are so few. And then out of those few human beings, the ones who are actually interested in spiritual knowledge are even fewer. That's what Lord Chaitanya was saying. And then there would be, out of these very few, also some may theoretically understand that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And so they might be, theoretically, they may be liberated. And then out of these so many liberated, one may just be able to become peaceful. Because one can attain complete peace only when we can understand our position as part and parcel of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. So a devotee of Krishna is very, very rare.
Can I read?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Thank you. Lord Chaitanya next explained that of the many thousands and millions of living entities wandering in the material world, one who, by the grace of Lord Krishna and the spiritual master, gets the seed of devotional service is very rare and fortunate. A pious or religious man is generally inclined to worship deities in the various temples. But if by chance, even without his knowledge, he offers his obeisances and worshipful respect to Lord Vishnu and receives the favor of a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Lord, at the time he acquires the assets necessary to approach the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is plainly understood from the history of a great sage Narada, which is related to Srimad Bhagavatam. By serving Vaishnavas in his previous life, Narad was favored by those devotees of the Lord and became the great sage Narad Muni.
So Lord Chaitanya is saying that so now so many living entities, millions of living entities, we are wandering in the material. He uses the word wandering. We are taking up this body and giving it up to take another, then giving it up and taking another. And not only on this planet Earth, we may think that we are always in this planet Earth. No. Sometimes we may be in one universe, sometimes on another universe. Sometimes in one planet, sometimes another planet. But Guru Krishna Prasadebaya, Bhakti Lata Bija, one who gets the grace of Lord Krishna and the Guru, gets the seed of devotional service. And such a person is very, very fortunate. Very fortunate, and not many, very rare, because we just understood that there are so many living entities who are not in the human body. And even if they're in the human body, not interested in spiritual life. So one who gets this seed, the seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata, he is very, very fortunate and very rare. And how can he get this? Srila Prabhupada is saying just how Narad Muni in his previous life, he was a small boy, he was a son of a maidservant, and by doing some service to the devotees, he became a great devotee. So just by the mercy of the devotees. So how can we get devotional? How can we get the seed of devotion? By the mercy of the devotee. The devotee has it, and that's how they give it to us. So bhakti comes from bhakta. There has to be a bhakta so that we can receive the bhakti. We'll continue reading.
Sorry, I forgot to mute and I read it. Sorry. Vaishnavas are generally very compassionate towards the conditioned souls. Without even being invited, a devotee will go from door to enlighten people, to bring them out of the darkness of the near signs by imparting knowledge of the living entity's constitutional position as a servant of Lord Sri Krishna. Such devotees are empowered by the Lord to distribute devotional consciousness or Krishna consciousness to the people in general. They are known as authorized spiritual masters, and it is by the mercy of such a spiritual master that a conditioned soul gets the seed of devotional service, because this mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is first appreciated when one comes in touch with a bona fide spiritual master who can enlighten the conditioned soul and bring him to the highest position of devotional service. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one can achieve the causeless mercy of the Lord, and by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can attain the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master.
So we need the mercy of Krishna to meet the bona fide spiritual master, and the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master to meet Krishna. And what does the bona fide spiritual master tell us? Gives us the knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of our constitutional position. What is our constitutional position? Jivara Swarupai Krishna Nityadas, a servant of Lord Krishna. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66, surrender unto me, sarva dharma parityagya, mam ekam sharanam praja. Just surrender unto me. So what does it mean? So Krishna is saying, I'm the master, you're the servant, surrender to me. Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya is teaching us the same thing. Krishna ends the instructions of Bhagavad Gita by that. But here Lord Chaitanya, in the very beginning of his teachings, he says that our constitutional position is we are servant of Lord Krishna. And so this is the authorized spiritual master who gives us this knowledge. He's empowered by Krishna to give us this knowledge. And by his mercy, we can approach Krishna. And that's what Lord Chaitanya says, by the mercy of the spiritual master, we can get the mercy of Krishna. And by the mercy of Krishna, we can get the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master.
Thus, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, one receives the seed of devotional service. Then, one has to sow the seed in the field of his heart, just as a gardener sows the seed of a valuable tree. After sowing the seed, one has to water it by the chanting and hearing the holy name of Supreme Lord, and by taking part in discussions about the science of devotional service in a society of pure devotees. When the plant of devotional service sprouts up from the seed of devotion, it begins to grow freely. When it is fully grown, it surpasses the length and breadth of this universe and enters the transcendental atmosphere of the spiritual world, where everything is bathed in the effulgence of the Brahmajyoti. The plant penetrates even the Brahmajyoti and gradually enters the planet known as Golok Vrindavan. There, the plant takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of the devotional service. After attaining this position, The plant produces the fruit of love of Godhead. To taste this fruit, however, it is necessary for the devotee or a transcendental gardener to water the plant daily by chanting and hearing. Unless one waters the plant by chanting and hearing, there is every chance that it will dry up.
So how do we get the seed of devotional service?
By the mercy of the spiritual master, Krishna.
And then when one gets the seed, what he has to do?
One has to sow the seed in the field of his heart.
Yeah, because by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he's getting the seed. So now what he has to do? He has to sow the seed in the heart. And then after he has sown the seed, then of course, when we sow some seed, we have to water it. So how can we water the seed of devotional service?
By chanting and hearing the holy name of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, by hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. So then what happens? So now the seed is sown. Now the watering of the plant is happening. And what's going to happen is the seed will sprout. You know, when we plant a seed and then we water it, then we'll see it sprouting. There's a tiny sprout, and then it begins to grow. So the same seed of devotional service, it sprouts and it grows and it grows. And because it is transcendental, it grows so much, it goes beyond this material universe. It penetrates the coverings of the material universe. You know, the universe we hear, there's such 10 times greater coverings: earth, water, air, fire, ether, 10 times greater than each. But by this creeper can penetrate it. That's the only way to get out of this material world. And it enters in the spiritual world, spiritual atmosphere. It's entered into the Brahmajyoti. The plant penetrates even the Brahmajyoti. So one may think that, okay, now this is the end. There's nothing beyond the Brahmajyoti. No, the plant keeps growing and it enters the highest planet in the spiritual world, which is called
Golok Vrindavan.
Thank you. And what does the plant do there in Golok Vrindavan?
And also takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yeah. So this plant, this devotional seed, which we are sowing in the heart by hearing and chanting, it grows and grows beyond this material universe, beyond the Brahmajyoti, enters into Golok Vrindavan and takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And after it's taken shelter of Krishna, lotus feet of Krishna, there's fruit. And what is this fruit?
Love of Godhead.
Yeah, and that's the goal of human life. The love of Godhead is the fruit of this devotional creeper. So now, what is necessary? How can we do it? We have to
Chanting and hearing.
Yeah.
Water the plant daily. Chanting.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, it will dry up. We may think, oh, now I know enough, so I can stop. No, chanting and hearing goes on. So we can see means even after liberation, because one is gone beyond the material world, one is going beyond the Brahmajyoti, means liberation, right? Hearing and chanting goes on. Goes on, in fact, in a pure way.
Lord Chaitanya pointed out to Rūpa Gosvāmī that there was another danger to be encountered while watering the root of the devotional plant. After a plant has grown somewhat, an animal may come and either eat it or destroy it. When the green leaves of a plant are eaten by some animal, the plant generally dies. Thus, one has to take precautions so that the plant of devotional service is not disturbed by animals, which represents offenses. The most dangerous animal is a mad elephant, for if an elephant enters, it causes tremendous damage to the plants and trees. An offense to a pure devotee of the Lord is called Vaishnav Aparat. The mad elephant offense in the discharge of the devotional service. An offense to the feet of a pure devotee creates havoc and stops one's advancement. Thus, one has to defend the plant of bhakti by fencing it off properly and taking care not to offend pure devotees. Then the plant of devotional service will be properly protected.
So then Lord Chaitanya continues to instruct Rūpa Gosvāmī. He's saying, okay, now the plant is there, it's growing very nicely. Usually we will see that when we have a nice garden, then we have to protect the garden also. And here Lord Chaitanya is saying that it can get the greatest dangers of the mad elephant. It can completely destroy the garden. So what is this mad elephant? A mad elephant offense, that's a
To a pure devotee.
an offense to a pure devotee. Vaishnav Aparad. So this is something that Lord Chaitanya, that's the very first offense to the holy name. Because the holy name takes the offense to the pure devotee personally. So Lord Chaitanya says that offense to a pure devotee creates havoc and stops one's advancement. And thus we have to be careful not to offend pure devotees. Then the plant of devotional service will be properly protected.
An offense to a pure devotee is one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. The first offense is to blaspheme the great devotees who have tried to spread the glories of the holy name all over the world. The greatest offender at the feet of the holy name is the rascal who is envious of such devotees. The holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna, and Lord Krishna cannot tolerate offenses against a pure devotee who, following the order of his spiritual master, is spreading the holy name all over the world. The second offense is to deny that Lord Vishnu is the absolute truth, since there is no difference between the Lord and his name, qualities, form, and pastimes or activities. One who sees a difference is considered an offender. The Lord being supreme, no one is equal to or greater than him. Consequently, one who thinks that the name of some demigod is equal to the Lord's name is an offender. The Supreme Lord and the demigods should never be considered on the same level.
So then Lord Chaitanya continues, as we said, that offense to a pure devotee is the first offense. Because Krishna, the devotees are very dear to Krishna. Krishna is called Vachan. He personally takes care of his devotees. So when one offends a pure devotee, then Krishna cannot tolerate it. The holy name is Krishna. The holy name is Krishna because it's on the absolute platform. And so the holy name does not tolerate the offense to his devotee. That's the first offense. And then the second offense is that the Lord is supreme. And so there is no one who is equal to or greater than him. There's no one equal to or greater than him. So if we think that there is any demigod who is equal to or greater than Krishna, that is the second offense to the holy name. Because the Lord is in the supreme position. He's supreme. Supreme means there's no one equal to. Oh, not even Lord Brahma, not even Lord Shiva. They are very great exalted demigods, but even they are not equal to the Supreme Lord. So, and if we consider them equal to the Supreme Lord, then that is the second offense to the holy name.
The third offense is to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be a common man. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature, the Vedas, and such corollaries as Puranas. The fifth offense is to consider the glories of the holy name to be exaggerations. The sixth offense is to imagine a perverted meaning of the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. It is understood that by chanting the holy name, one is freed from sinful reactions. But this does not mean that one should perversely act sinfully on the strength of chanting. That is the greatest offense. The eighth offense is to equate chanting the holy name with the religious rituals, austerities, renunciation, or sacrificial performances. Chanting the holy name is as good as associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas these pious activities are only means of approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they can also be performed for some material reasons. It is an offense to equate them with the chant of the holy name. The ninth offense is to preach the glories of the holy name of God to a faithless person. The tenth and the last offense is to maintain material attachment even after hearing and chanting the holy name of the God. The idea is that by chanting the holy name without offense, one is elevated to the liberated platform where one is freed from all material attachments. Thus, if one chants the holy name and still has material attachments, he is committing an offense. Wow.
So that Lord Chaitanya is continuing to speak. He's saying the third offense is to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be an ordinary man, common man. The spiritual master, he's a confidential associate of the Lord. He's a confidential servant of Srimati Radha, the bona fide spiritual master. So it is an offense to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be a common man. And then, so in ISKCON, the preeminent, the spiritual master for everyone, the preeminent Shiksha Guru for everyone is Srila Prabhupada. And all the other spiritual masters, gurus, they are doing the service of connecting every one of us to Srila Prabhupada. That is how ISKCON structure is. He is the preeminent Shiksha Guru of everyone. And the fourth is to blaspheme the Vedic literature, to disbelieve in the Vedas, or to condemn the Vedas. Not reading the Vedas is also a blasphemy of the Vedas. So we should try to read the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the fifth offense is to think, because the glories of the holy name are chanted, and if we think that these glories are just simply somebody's imagination, that is the fifth offense. The sixth offense, I don't know if you'll have come across, someone will say, oh, Hare means this, Krishna means that, like we are just making up our own meanings. That is an offense. We can follow the meanings which are given by the acharyas, but if we imagine we are listening to someone's imagination of the holy name, that is an offense. Also, we understand by chanting the holy name, then our material desires go away, our desire to sin goes away. But if we and that our sinful reactions go away. Now, if we say, okay, anyway, I'm going to do some sinful activity and I'll chant, so then I will not get a reaction. That is also an offense. That's the seventh offense. Thinking that, okay, I'm going to do some sinful activity and I'll chant and then I'll be all right. So that is the 7th one. And the 8th is thinking that I'll do some puja, some yajna, some charity, some penance, some kind of a pious activity. And that's going to give me the same result as chanting. No. Thinking that is an offense to the holy name. Why? Because the holy name is Krishna himself. So when one chants purely, one is with Krishna. Whereas all the other processes, some rituals, some austerity, some sacrifices, all that will gradually bring us to Krishna. But when one is chanting, one is with Krishna. And thinking that these are the same, that is an offense. So it's also an offense to preach the glories of the holy name to someone who has no faith. Then we may say that, oh, but we are told to tell everyone to chant Hare Krishna. Yes, we just tell them chant Hare Krishna. We don't have to get into the details of all the glories of the holy name with someone who is, just beginning or who has no faith. So yes, we give Hare Krishna mantra to everyone, but we don't have to getting into the telling them of the glories if they have no faith. And the 10th and the last offense is that we continue to maintain our material attachment. We hear so much glories of hearing and chanting. We hear the glories of hearing and chanting, and then we continue to still be materially attached. That is an offense. When if we chant the holy name without offense, immediately one can get liberated. Immediately. Haridas Thakur says one gets liberation even by namabhas. It's not pure chanting, but just by the shadow chanting of pure chanting. Means chanting without offenses. One can get immediate liberation. So we should try that. Try to chant without offenses. That if we continue to chant, we still have material attachment, we are committing an offense. Then what to do? I was hearing a class by Gaur Govinda, because we are all chanting with these offenses, no? So many material attachments, so many offenses we have committed so many times. All the offenses, thousands of times. What is the way? To actually pray to the holy name, cry to the holy name. Yes, I am an offender. Yes, I am committing all these offenses. Kindly forgive me. Kindly accept me. Okay, he says it very nicely. I think he was quoting a bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So these are the 10 offenses to the holy name. Are there any questions or comments? No. And let's stop here for today. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.